Today in part 2 we're going to look at the Neo Geo CD family. With the development of the MVS and the AES, it became clear that the cartridge-based arcade system and home console had become an elitist endeavour, and the high price of the systems available at the time were way out of the reach of the average consumer. With the carts costing around $300 each, SNK attempted to broaden the appeal of the Neo Geo audience with the introduction of the CD-based system. At the time, CD-ROM technology had become cheaper, which allowed them to be used in cheaper consumer products, and game consoles being one of them. With CDs being used as a prime candidate for game storage, Neo Geo games could then cost around $50 each compared to the $300 for the carts. The huge amount of capacity of the CD-ROM compared to carts at the time was an exciting prospect for developers in the early 90s, as it had only been introduced by Denon and Sony in 1984, and the first CD-ROMs had only just released at a cost that could be used in games consoles. SNK was known for producing massive ROM carts up to 716 megabits, so the AES as a home console could never compete with upcoming systems such as Sega CD and the PC Engine Super CD-ROM, as it was just too expensive. So CD-ROM could now hold enough storage for Neo Geo games plus some extras such as enhanced soundtrack, etc. It made sense for SNK to use this technology in its next console. The result of the marriage between the CD-ROM and the AES was the Neo Geo CD, which was born in 1994. This evolution of the AES was going to have a big impact on the Neo Geo, but not all of this in a good way. This would be a new problem that SNK had to encounter, and that was the limitations of transfer speeds of the CD-ROM. CD-ROM as we know it today has a defined access time to seek and stream data from discs. SNK tried to alleviate this issue by equipping the Neo Geo CD with a whopping 7 megabit of RAM, more than any console at the time, even the Sega Saturn with its bucket full of chips on board. SNK had always had the luxury of fast silicon, so graphical data could be accessed from the carts when needed very quickly. With the introduction of CD-ROM drives, the need for fast transfer seemed a must, but SNK decided to only use a single speed drive, not the newly released twin-speed drives with faster access and data streaming. As a result, the consumer was faced with a new problem. The AES almost had no load times, but they were now faced with an annoying wait of up to 40 seconds to load in game data, even between game bouts, in fighting games which were stable on the Neo Geo and defined the system. With games now loading more often, SNK attempted to reduce load times by cutting back character data and sprite data on later discs, so games on CD were not always the same as their cart counterparts. SNK introduced 3 models over the lifespan. This was a result of the criticism of the long load times. SNK introduced an enhanced or double speed drive. I have read many articles and some say it is a double speed drive and others say it is an enhanced single speed drive, but the result is the same, a faster drive. This model would be the CD-Z and was introduced in 1995 to the Japanese market, but was met with criticism again as SNK's failure to introduce any 3D capabilities into the system, which would keep it from producing any cutting-edge games, especially those 3D ones that were becoming very popular at the time, and 3D was the new big thing. The systems were officially discontinued in 1997 and was considered a commercial failure. This was mainly due to the lack of marketing and the competition moving into 3D polygon graphics. The front loader was released in 1994 and distributed in Japan only. It sold around 25,000 units and was complemented with the top loader, which was released worldwide in 1996 and is the most common model available. Then came the CD-Z, which had a little bit of a reputation because it was prone to overheating due to poor ventilation. This was mainly due to the small form factor, and it is also known to have damaged the circuit boards if used for prolonged periods of time. But strangely, this is the most popular and sought after model, and was released in December 1995 to the Japanese market only. The Neo Geo CD is a unique console in gaming history, developed to slip into a gap in the market that closed on it very quickly, crushing all SNK's attempts to survive. Despite this, the legacy of the Neo Geo CD is still very strong, and they are a desirable system to collect for, with many arcade perfect conversions keeping the Neo Geo in our hearts to this day. As for the future of these beloved consoles, and with CD-ROMs dying, not all is lost. With the likes of Furtek producing the SD loader for the Neo Geo CD, these systems will live well on into the future. If you have a Neo Geo CD and you wish to install the SD loader, please look at my channel and you will see that there is a video and tutorial of installing that. Okay, we've come to the end of the video now. It's been a fantastic journey to get these machines out again, and I'm sure this won't be the last time. I'm sure there'll be more modifications and things to do in the future. So if you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again in the next video. Bye for now.